What's going on, guys? Blake Hawthorn, Itshisturf, and tonight we're going to be talking about the best investment I've ever made in my landscape company. Alright guys, so you're probably thinking that is a very bold statement, and you're right, it is, but it is true. So welcome to Equipment Overload. This is our Monday night series where every Monday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we jump into a piece of equipment that helps us in our day-to-day operations. Tonight's piece of equipment is my Ditch Witch SK752 mini skid steer. All right, so about a year ago, we shot a video jumping into this. Don't judge me on that. We had fun, that's all that matters. Be sure and check it out. No, I'm not as much of a diva as it appears in the first few minutes of that video, but my guys may argue with that. What I want to talk about tonight is some pros and cons of this machine. We have over 1,300 hours on this. We've been operating it for almost 3 years straight, and there's a lot that we have liked and disliked about this machine that we can be able to show you that you can keep in mind when you go to purchase yours. So before we jump into that, I want you to understand where these pros and cons are coming from in relation to our current business model. I do have a Bobcat T650, a Yanmar VIO17 mini excavator, and an L4400 Kubota tractor. These are 3 other pieces of equipment that I have besides my Ditch Witch SK752. And so with that being in mind, that's why some of these are pros and cons. The thing that we're going to be looking at is for you as a landscaper getting into this industry, I'm going to try to put myself in your perspective, not having maybe a tractor and a skid steer as well when you're looking at making this purchase decision. Another reason why this is relevant is because we've been operating with our Ditch Witch and our Yanmar for the last year and have used our Bobcat and our Kubota very little. So before we just tear the machine down, we're going to talk about the pros. So this machine is phenomenal. It operates great, it's consistent, it's here every morning, it does a great job. So we like to focus a lot of our project into smaller residential backyards, and this allows us to go into most walk gates. The track width is only 43 inches, even having the wide 9-inch tracks. And since the machine weighs less than 3,000 pounds, we typically don't tear up the lawn. Now, if we're gonna be making several trips back and forth, this is when we need to lay down plywood or some kind of walkboard in the yard to keep from tearing things up. Or we just figure in on replacing the sod when the project's finished. Another great thing about this machine is all of the attachments. So when I bought this machine, I wanted to get a clam bucket, a set of forks, a trencher, and a Harley rake. With these 4 attachments, I found that I'm able to do almost every single job. But if I didn't have my Yanmar, one of the attachments I would want to look at is one of the backhoe attachments or possibly even an auger attachment, because we use our Yanmar a lot of times to plant large trees, where if I didn't have that, it'd be nice to have something to help assist us in digging those larger holes. Some of the cons I want to look at is the lift capacity. If I didn't have my tractor or my skid steer, this lift capacity would not be ideal. It won't even lift a half pallet of sod. The lift capacity on this machine is 860 pounds and only lift to 83 inches high. So what I would want to do is upgrade to the next size up if I wasn't going to have any other pieces of equipment in my fleet. This would allow for me to at least be able to move a half a pallet of sod and be able to get a lot of our projects done that we do on a smaller scale. Besides that lift capacity, the only other con that we have found is going to be the tracks coming off. They do have a gauge that you can put on there to make sure that you get the tracks to the right tension, but we have found that the sprocket, the rollers, and the guides all take a lot of grease and maintenance, and unfortunately we haven't always stayed on top of that, so that has caused us a lot of heartache in the field. But in the last 1,300 hours, that is the only thing that has messed up on this machine. We had one of the sprockets break at about 1,000 hours, and we've had a couple of the guides and rollers have to have bearings replaced. We're on our 3rd set of tracks. I think that some of this may have had to do with some of our lack of maintenance on the sprocket, roller, and guides. Some more pros that I want to look at is going to be the dual lever ground drive control that it has. This machine has 2 joysticks that is used for steering, where most of the other machines in the industry only have 1. This allows for you to be able to turn in really tight places. Another great thing about this machine is the 10.5 gallon fuel tank. This allows for you to be able to operate on an entire day or longer, depending on what you're doing. For some of you wanting some specs on this machine, it runs a 24.8 horsepower diesel engine. This is a Kubota 1105 engine. Now guys, you're not gonna get anywhere fast, but this machine will operate at 4.8 miles per hour. All in all, we've been extremely happy with this machine. I'm not saying that you don't want the SK752 because we have loved it. I'm just saying if you don't plan on buying any other larger pieces of equipment in the near future, I would strongly suggest you thinking about getting a size larger than what we operate with. The biggest thing we have seen is with sod, that we have to downsize these pallets just below a half a pallet to be able to move it. But for a machine that costs less than $25,000 and allows us to be able to operate our crews on a smaller manpower, this has been the best purchase that we have made for our landscape company. So guys, just as we used to make sure we had wheelbarrows on the truck every single day, this is our go-to piece of equipment. We use this machine every day in our operations, just as we used to make sure they have wheelbarrows on the truck. This is one of our go-to machines that we make sure is on the truck every single day that we're going out to do any type of landscape or hardscape services. It does allow for us to get jobs done that used to take a crew to get done that you can do with one and sometimes two guys. Guys, I hope you enjoyed tonight's video as we're jumping into one of my favorite pieces of equipment that I have. Be sure and leave a comment down below letting me know what your thoughts are, maybe what your next big purchase is going to be for your company, or maybe something that you've seen that we use in our operations that you'd like for us to touch on in a video. But guys, most of all, we're just wanting a way to be able to help you with your business and be able to connect with you. Something I'd like to do this week that's a little different than things we've done in the past is instead of just signing on here saying, hey, God bless, have a great week, we'll see you next time, that I would like to get some of you guys prayer requests. If there's something that I could personally pray for you about to help you in your business, I would like to do that. So please send me an email at itshisturf@gmail.com, or you can check the description down below where you'll see my phone number. Just feel free to send me a text with your information, what it is that's going on. It's a safe place. I promise you're not going to get any kind of worldly advice. This is just a place that I can lift you up in prayer to help spur you along in whatever it is that you're doing. Those of you that have followed me and you know my story, we've gone through a lot in our business, and especially in the last 16 to 18 months. And I can promise you, whatever it is that you're going to business related, I can probably relate on a personal level. And so that's what I hope to do, is just be able to encourage you, help you through that. And if there's anything that I can physically help you with, I would be more than happy to. So guys, thank you so much. God bless. Please send me whatever it is I can pray for you about, and we'll see you next week.